We all know the grip. I believe there's a range of grips. I don't believe there's one. I see more Pakistanis holding it like this with the bead more to the left. But there's a lot of Western players do that. I see some players going to the bottom. So I look for the first knuckle, anywhere between the top of the handle to the bottom of the handle. This is important to me as a coach, because if you as a coach hold it to the east and your kid holds it to the west, the contact point, especially on the backhand, is different. So if I'm coaching a player and I'm holding the racket there, and I tell him to contact on a straight drive in front with his grip, he's starting to get a dodgy wrist position. Okay? We're all talking about basics, so those of you now think, yeah, well, what about the basics? So what do I try and do with my kids? I try and get my kids to go in the middle, but I don't really care as long as it's in that range there. I like the wrist to be, we all know the cock wrist, I don't like it to be too strong. I like it to be a little relaxed. I teach that the wrist is cocked, but I want my kids to slightly see the strings on the top of the racket on the forehand side. I don't want the wrist laid back like that. This wrist position, again, remember? Again, is more of a backhand cock wrist position. I don't want the wrist up, come back like that. So there's a slight tilting of openness here on the backhand position and a slight openness on the backswing of the forehand position. But every single swing I've ever seen in slow motion, and I don't care whether you take Peter Nicol, Dave Palmer, Jonathan Powell, I don't care who you take, Jahangir and Jamshid, I see that there's an action that is inevitable when the wrist is cocked, coming through the forehand. So racket head speed delivers power. So if I know English, which is often taught as the letter U, my forearm will have to go from there to there if the wrist is cocked. If the wrist is not cocked, it won't turn. And this action there creates incredible acceleration to the racket head. So if I'm coming from here, this turns, that creates racket head speed. So I want to be back here, and then I'm going to drop and extend through. This may not be that, it might be that. But my focus on my kids is what's happening here. A good contact position, which I don't believe is here, which I believe is between the feet, naturally there. And I want my kids to be able to hit as they get better from inside the back foot, there, in lots of different positions in relation to their feet. So the feet sets the body, and it creates a line, and I want to hit along that line. Is the art of coaching. The average shape on a backhand follow-through takes the racket to about 11 o'clock. I don't know why exactly, but I think it's to do with optimum rotation of the forearm. If I do this on my own, and a kid doesn't, then we're focusing too much on getting ready for the next shot. So I do this with a partner. And I can now finish a little bit easier. And I wanted to keep it simple. I'm just looking for a shape or a position, and a shape and a position. Knowing that if that happens correctly there, and this happens correctly here, what takes place in the middle can't not happen. It can't not happen. What is that? The forearm rotation. Now I know that a lot of power is generated all the way through the body. The feet, the hips, and the body, and stepping into the shot. But I believe that the biggest source of power is generated through this action here. I believe that if there is a player with a compromised technique here, that the kid, the player, doesn't do this consciously, but subconsciously they're trying to generate racket head speed. And they do that more often than not through the shoulder and the trunk. And I'm not saying we don't use the shoulder, so then we get swings like this. Okay? We get helicopters coming around. So that, the first thing that leads to that is failure for this to engage. This will not engage if this is not under control. So good grip, good wrist, position, it can't not happen. All right? It looks like there's something about it. There's something about the preparation. Yeah, that's right. So final thing I'm going to say. What's important is that. What's important is good contact point. And what's very important is holding the racket head through the line of the ball. That means the direction that the ball is going in. All right? Post, drive, cross court, whatever it is. If that racket head comes offline too soon, there's no sound in the ball. You can stand here and have a kid hitting on that court there, and you can listen. And not on hard drives, on medium drive, you go, yep, that's a sweet connection. You can hear it coming back. In Pakistan, they refer to the press. The press on top of this, to me, is the most important aspect of basic technique. The press does not need to be taught. It's an absolute natural thing to happen. It's a subtle thing that happens when they focus on the line